I followed you into war. Twice. Without doubts. Without second thoughts. But I will not follow you now. The Robert I grew up with didn't tremble at the shadow of an unborn child.
She dies.
I will have no part in it.
You're the King's hand, Lord Stark. You'll do as I command, or I'll find me a hand who will.
And good luck to him. I thought you were a better man.
Out. Out. Damn you, I've done with you. Go, run back to Winterfell!
You know that moment when you are madly, like, enthused about a creator, or you just love the work of someone that you've been, you know, reading up on, or you've been playing through, any of that type of stuff. Like, you like what they do, you respect them for the craft that they create, and when people try to unfairly criticize them, you will defend them till basically your last breath, in terms of internet speak. But then, and this is something that has been happening a lot lately with me, they start saying stupid shit, and they start acting like the people who are trying to, you know, take them down. And it makes you question, well, why the hell have I been defending you if you're just going to turn a new leaf onto somebody else and start bashing them for no reason? Well, that's happened today, well, yesterday, as I'm recording this, with a certain TheFloofArtist. Now, who's the TheFloofArtist? Well, you would know them if you watched my second most popular video on my channel right now, where I defended the TheFloofArtist from Barbara Dunkelman being an asshole to her. And it was, you know, I don't know how the hell that video got so popular. But, yeah, I defended the TheFloofArtist from Barbara Dunkelman because Barbara was just being an ass. And yes, you could argue that Floof was intentionally being a jackass, but that's his whole shtick. Alright, and the reason he does that is to show how stupid people in the RWBY fandom can really get. Alright, you can take issue with why he does it, or at least how he does it, but the why can justify the how for me. But not in this instance, because this is not even a thing where he's like super knowledgeable about the issue here. And what I'm talking about is, of course, you know, since he's buddies with Fat Man Falling, and guess who Fat Man Falling hates? MauLer. You know, he loves to make shit up about MauLer. He loves to criticize MauLer for basically nothing. You know, he's an ass. So this whole situation started up. I was replying to Fat Man Falling, and this was through a retweet that the Floof had. I don't remember what exactly he was saying, but he was doing something around the effect of, like, you know, somebody blocked him for trying to start a discussion. And then I, okay then, why don't you, you know, take up on your word and just debate MauLer, you coward. Since he likes to criticize MauLer, and he's like, oh, I don't want to go on a debate from him because he's so pretentious, So I was like, why don't you just fucking debate him? Right? And every time I see one of his tweets when he's talking about, like, discussion and stuff, I'm like, then debate MauLer. Right? It's not really a troll. It's like rarely happens. Maybe I'll see a post like that from him maybe once or twice a month, and even then, like, it never gets noticed. But then, like, the minute after I replied that, he just freaking up and started blocking me, or at least he protected his tweets, is what it showed, but I think he blocked me. So, since I was replying to it through a retweet, the Floof was tagging that discussion, and in retrospect, I probably should have just untagged him. But I don't know why I didn't do it, because, well, actually, I know why I didn't do it. I just forgot, because I was being stupid. This whole situation could have been avoided if I was being stupid. But here's what happened anyway. So the Floof replied to me saying fuck MauLer. So, well, okay. So I replied, well, that's a good argument. That's such a great argument, sarcastically. And then this started a whole load of bullshit. Floof has this inane belief that MauLer's and EFAP's fans are like this rabid culture of hate that's rivaling that of Bumblebee. Look, even Bumblebee, as cancerous as Bumblebee is, at least they're like united behind something. Right? Like they have this tendency to like this certain thing that nobody else likes, and that's what makes them a niche thing. Whereas with MauLer's thing, you know, people are genuinely enthralled with what he has to say, or at least they like his content, and they like how he's interacting with people all the time. And top that off, he's running EFAP right now, which is very successful at the moment. So I really took problem with him just saying fuck MauLer out of nowhere. And then he pulls out that same bullshit argument that everybody likes to say, oh, if MauLer believes in objectivity so much, just make the perfect movie. Even though MauLer never says there is a way there to make the perfect movie. The perfect movie has never been made. Or the perfect TV show, or the perfect book. That's not what MauLer's espousing. He just repeats the same goddamn narrative about MauLer that always pisses people like me off. It's really ridiculous. But then this whole rabbit hole starts when he started spouting that narrative that MauLer's fans are horrible people. You know, like the people who were criticizing EFAP for going after Jenny Nicholson for a shitty take on Joker. You know, that take on Joker. You know, where a bunch of people just started calling EFAP sexist out of nowhere, even though EFAP covers 99.9999999% of male critics whenever they're reviewing something online. So that was stupid. And Floof is also ignorant about MauLer because he says in the tweet, all right, I'm gonna have him sprinkled throughout the video, or at least I'll have him either played at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, that he doesn't know much about MauLer at all. So why are you saying fuck MauLer then? Why are you taking such issue with the fact that he likes to do objectivity stuff? Like, I really don't understand it. I even said this to him too. It's like, you both do basically the same thing. And this is the thing people have also been saying to Fat Man, is that you guys do basically the same thing. You look at the measurable elements of the art and you criticize it. Remember, Floof's whole claim to fame is RWBY is Broken, where he breaks down all the bullshit going on with RWBY's art style and the consistency in the art form. Like all the errors, all the broken stuff. And he routinely criticizes the show on Twitter, calling out the bullshit plot points, calling out the pandering. Right? And I agree with most of his takes on RWBY. I really do. Right? Now, to be fair, I haven't been really on the same page with Floof as of late because, for one, he keeps getting into spats with Hirohei over something I don't even think is necessarily... Like, I really don't know why they're getting into a spat. I think Floof has this misconception that Hay was lying about something. And then Hay doesn't really like Floof in the first place because he doesn't really like people in the RWBY critic base. Which I can understand. It's just, you need to come up with a better argument. I think there's bad on both sides there. But then also Floof was like spouting all this bullshit about Iran and stuff. And, you know, I don't want to get into the political anger here. It's just say I didn't really appreciate his takes on that. But so he just, you know, ignorant about MauLer. He's also ignorant about the fan base. And I was trying to explain to him, look, dude, every fan base has shitty people in it. Right? This is a basic concept. Basic concept, okay? We have shitty people in the Star Wars fandom, we have shitty people in the Halo fandom, we have shitty people in the Star Trek fandom, we have shitty people in basically every fucking fandom, especially the RWBY fandom, the one that he's a part of, or at least not really a part of, since he's not really a fan, but you know what I mean. But I'm just trying to explain to him that. But look, man, people are assholes sometimes. Just because they're a part of one person's fan base or a fan base of this certain property doesn't mean that everybody who, you know, is in this fan base are assholes or are being like character assassinating dickwads. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, but there's this one dude that contradicts basically everything you're saying. I was like, okay, give me some links. I want to see what MauLer and EFAT fans did to this guy, and I think it was Luke Freet. He said it was. I want to see you provide me a link to whatever my fan base, not my fan base, but the fan base that I'm a part of, people out of the fan base that I'm a part of, did to this guy that was so bad. All right, and even then, I was thinking it was probably just maybe one or two people being dicks, and even then, it was probably just a bunch of inside jokes that EFAP has that they were using against him because he probably said something stupid. It's not like they're going around harassing him. It's not that they're going around trying to character assassinate him and calling him sexist and homophobes and all that type of crap. It's not like they're doing any of that. I highly doubt that they did any of that. But then, I waited. I waited for 30 minutes. Didn't get a thing. Quote tweeted the tweet asking for evidence. And then was like, hey man, doesn't take you 30 minutes to just send me a link. Just, show me the evidence, please. I'd like to see what compelling arguments we could have here about MauLer. Maybe we could have a discussion over this, like a serious discussion. Over, like, fan bases and everything like that. Because I really did take issue with the fact that he called basically the EFAP verse worse than Bumblebee. Okay? I mean, considering the bullshit that EFAP and MauLer, everybody in this sphere has to go through on a daily fucking basis. People just being assholes about MauLer as a person. And then when people are like taking issue with it, they like to hide behind this shield. And then say, oh, you're all harassing me. And then they just proceed to not bother to do anything, which is basically what Fat Man does. That's what Jack Saint does. And they just... And like I said, when Floof said he didn't know much about MauLer, he said, but I don't talk about him a lot. So why did you fucking bother replying to me? I was replying to Fat Man, not you. But then I waited a little bit longer. I looked back at the tweet thread. All the tweets are there except one little tweet that I was asking for context for. The little tweet about Luke Freet. It said, tweet unavailable. And I was like, okay, either he deleted this or he's trying to hide it. He's trying to hide it. And I fucking lost it. I called him a coward. I quote tweeted him and called him a coward. Okay, because that is cowardly. I asked for links, I asked for references, I asked for evidence, and I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing, and I was furious. I got pissed. Really fucking pissed. So after I quote tweeted him, I got a, well, you just proved my point, blah, 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 and then just went off and blocked him. The intellectual dishonesty and the inane faggotry, as well as the absolute lying and covering up of just one little sentence that I have a screenshot of, by the way. That doesn't sit well with me. Alright, that's Jack Saint fucking behavior. That's Eric Taxon fucking behavior. I was not in the mood. I was not in the mood. I mean, it was already late at night anyway. Alright, I really wasn't trying to get in an argument, and he wasn't being a dick to me at first. Alright, we were just having issue with MauLer, and I was just trying to explain to him, dude, man, like, what's up? Alright, I'm trying to find out what's at the root of all this stuff. Why does he think this way? And then, just to see him double down, not only double down, when I ask for evidence, and I wait for a fucking near hour for the evidence, only to see that the tweet of him saying a name in reference to MauLer and EFAP fans harassing this person when I ask for evidence of that, you just up and either delete the tweet or you try to find a way to hide it. When I can see all the other tweets in the thread. And then when I call you out on it, you just pussy out and block me. I mean, honestly, actually, no. This is worse than Jack's thing. This is worse than Eric Taxon. This is Movie Bob levels. Because I remember why Movie Bob blocked me. He blocked me because I was when I made a response video calling him out for his Halo Reach review, that was so inaccurate that it made me want to melt my brain down. You know, and I was calling him out on the inaccuracies of it. He just says, well, you're just a guy with the Dawn who, you named yourself after the guy who sexually harassed Captain Marvel and then proceeded to block me, even though I was trying to explain to him, hey, your take on Halo was shit. Alright? And all I was doing was responding to Fat Man. Alright, I could have handled the situation differently. I'm going to accept that. I'm willing to accept that criticism. I could have handled that situation a hell of a lot differently. And honestly, I wish I could. If I could, I would go back. But, man, that leaves a really big shit stain on the ground for the Floof's reputation in my eyes. That really damages my respect I had for him. It's all completely gone now. Alright? I really do not. I don't appreciate that type of cowardice. I don't appreciate cowardice, period. But that type of cowardice, especially, is gross. It's disgusting. I don't even know what he's even saying about me behind the block. He may be saying something he might not be. But yeah. So it's pretty ironic that I make a video defending him and becomes my second most popular video behind my Rooster Teeth FML video. And then here we are, freaking months later, and I'm out here bashing Floof for doing what Barbara did to him. Right? It sucks. It really does just... I mean, I've had to go through this situation with a lot of people. I used to really respect Mark Hamill. Then I started seeing his bullshit political takes, and then especially his thing where he basically attacked the kids of Donald Trump's daughter. And I was like, okay, I'm off this train. I used to really respect Joss Whedon until I started seeing his politics for what they were, and for also freaking being a sleazebag and a hypocrite. I used to really respect a hefty amount of filmmakers and actors and writers, only to see them for what they truly are, and then I just can't find it in my heart to really look up to them in the same way. Now that all depends on other things. Like, I still like stuff from certain people. I'll still watch stuff with Mark Hamill in it. It's just that I don't respect people as much as I used to in media, you know, on YouTube and in movies and TV shows and all that stuff, because of the things that they say, because of how they say it, and how they perceive everybody else to be in the wrong. It's sad. It really is. And it's just another, you know, it's just another sad, it's just another, what's the word? It's just another example of how fucking screwed we are in terms of having general discussions with each other. I mean, we won't even bother trying to have intellectually honest things. Like, what Floof did, that was an act of intellectual dishonesty. What Jack Saint did was an act of intellectual dishonesty. What Movie Bob does all the time is intellectual dishonesty. Eric Taxon, you name it. Like, seriously, you can criticize MauLer fairly, and he will have you on EFAP. Alright? Freaking Major Lee, the guy who I criticized when he was being a dick to MauLer on Twitter, he ended up coming on an EFAP. He came on. He had a genuine discussion. Yes, the discussion was cancer, but I'd rather have a discussion than no discussion at all. He genuinely cared about The Last Jedi to the point that he wanted to go on to a live stream with someone he vehemently disagreed with. He was willing to go on 3-on-1. Okay, seriously, if Floof has such a problem, if Fat Man has such a problem with MauLer, if Jack Sane has such a problem with MauLer, debate. Please. Like, that's the only way we can get ourselves out of these stupid misunderstandings and misconceptions. Having these types of discussions will greatly help not only media criticism, but would also help, people throughout our lives and stuff. Like, having this type of stuff happen in real life, like, not online, but with people around us, would really go a long way into helping, everyone out. We wouldn't be having to worry about, if this guy over here is going to stab you in the back, or if they're going to start saying shit about you, and lying, and all that type of stuff, or trying to misconstrue your words and your intentions. We shouldn't have to be worrying about that. There's so many other things that we have to worry about without stabbing each other in the back, being dicks to each other. There's so many other things that we got to worry about. If we weren't worrying about all the stupid petty nonsense, imagine how much further we could have already gotten in terms of just advancement, in terms of just human discussion and philosophy and all these types of other things, if we could just freaking get along. And yes, I just realized I had turned this into a PSA. Fuck. Better than anyone Red vs. Blue has done in the last freaking 5 years. But anyway, I'm just going to leave off with this. Guys, if you see someone you disagree with, unless they're being outright jackasses to you for no reason, try to engage. Try to see why they think that way. Show them why you think the way you do. Try to branch out and really understand why things are the way they are and what we can do to change them. And honestly, that would go a long way into helping society. Just a better understanding. I mean, this is a lack of understanding is why we have this super huge political divide right now. If we could get rid of that divide, a lot of good could come to the world. Hell, we could probably go to space with it. Just don't act like a coward. This is my message to everyone. Don't act like a coward. Don't just kowtow away when you make a mistake. Own up to your mistakes. Alright? The only tweets I've ever deleted have been tweets where I said something really stupid and I was just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Not in a discussion sense, but like making a joke or something. I was like, oh man, that was a really stupid joke. I don't like it. Or if I make a spelling error. Alright, but if you're having a discussion, don't delete your tweets or don't hide them. Alright, if you make a mistake, own up to it. Don't be a coward, is the message here. Own up to your mistakes, discuss with other people, and honestly, you'd be going a hell of a long way further towards the future. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed that. I want to drink some whiskey, even though I'm not old enough. I'm not actually going to drink whiskey, but I am going to play a lot of NASCAR Thunder 2004. So thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Don't die.